Hey everyone, thank you for joining me in this workshop about how can mindfulness help me. So, if you're brand new to mindfulness, that's a great question and a good question to start with as an inquiry. So, throughout this video, I'd like to encourage you to either have a page open on your computer or your phone to take notes with, or have a physical journal or paper and pencil pen with you so that you can journal throughout this video. I'll be asking many reflective, open-ended questions that you can inquire about now or later. And of course, you can come back to this as long as it's up online to watch in the future and continue your inquiry. So whenever I start any kind of new practice, it's good to understand why. What's like Simon Sinek talks about the big why. What's your big why? What is your guiding principle, that North Star, your intention for doing this? Is there something that you've been struggling with that you need help with? And that's what you think mindfulness can do for you, is help you with this thing that you've been struggling with. So if you'd like to just pause this video now and take a few moments, maybe 10 or 15 minutes to, or more. I mean, this could be an inquiry for days. If you wanted to spend a few minutes every day for the next several days on this inquiry, or a week, every day for a few minutes, writing about, inquiring about, thinking about what is my big why for being more mindful in my life? How can mindfulness help me? How can it support me? How can it impact my relationships with myself, with others, with my work, my contribution to the world, with life itself? These are all great inquiries. So go ahead, pause this video, take a few moments or many moments, as long as you need, to inquire about what is my big why? What's my reason for wanting to bring mindfulness into my life? And I'll see you when you come back. So, once you have some kind of understanding about your big why or your intention for wanting to be more mindful in your life, then you can go into some of these practices with this intention, with this North Star guiding principle. Um, Mindfulness is a great tool. For me, my experience with mindfulness is that it helps bring me into the present moment, right here, right now, with exactly what's happening, how it is. Now, there are reasons why we don't always want to be in the present moment. We have systems in our bodies that support us to protect us from traumatic experiences that might be happening in the moment. So, there may be times that it's not actually good for you to be fully present in the moment. And your body, your psyche might do things that help you black out, or, go away from the experience, get numb, whatever it is. Like, the body has its own protective mechanisms. So, let's just honor those for what they are, and that they are here to support and protect us. Um, what happens is when we start noticing that some of these protective mechanisms are happening in situations that are not like seriously traumatic situations. A lot of people have trauma responses: fight, flight, um, uh, drain, posture. So fight, flight, freeze is another one. Freezing, not doing anything. There are many different trauma responses. People go numb, people get chatty, people, whatever, I mean, you just will start noticing in your life, or maybe you've already started noticing, and that's why you're here, that you show up in certain ways that cultivate these reactions, even in situations that are not necessarily truly traumatic situations. And you're thinking, why am I showing up that way? I would really like to understand this, and I'd like to be able to show up maybe in a more adult way, like deal with this as more in a from an adult perspective as opposed to a childlike perspective. I worked with a great therapist for many years who said, anytime you notice you're in black or white thinking, all or nothing, that's usually a child part. And I'll talk about parts possibly through this video that comes from internal family systems therapy model, or they call it parts work, IFS, with Dr. Richard Schwartz. So we might notice that parts of us show up and see life in a very distinctive way that's black and white. Kids oftentimes they don't understand shades of gray, they don't understand nuance, so things are just this or that. As we get older, um hopefully we mature into being able to see and understand nuances, understand that life is really a series of shades of gray, not necessarily black and white. Of course there are things that are gonna happen. We know, there are some things that we know we can count on, but most of life are shades of gray. And so you might be noticing that you're showing up in a reactive way, seeing things as black and white, maybe argumentative, defensive, scared, depressed, anxious. Um, Maybe you show up lying a lot because you don't know how to be honest about something. Maybe you freeze a lot and aren't able to speak your truth or speak up when something doesn't feel good or feel right, or you see something that's not working or something that you don't like. For me, a lot of my stuff shows up in the car, road rage, blaming other people, lack of compassion, lack of empathy, lack of patience. Okay. So you might find things are showing up in certain areas of your life. And that's what's cueing you into, okay, maybe mindfulness can help me with this. Maybe mindfulness can help me um, be more aware of what's happening so that I can help myself and my parts deal with life in a better way. I did a course with Jim and Jori Manske from Nonviolent Communication. They are trained facilitators, and they did this awesome course from reactivity to choice. And I think I can't remember how many steps there were, maybe 4 steps. I used a lot of their guidance and information in a program I started called Free to Be, which I'd love for you to get the free ebook. It's a great process, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. I'll leave the link down in the notes for this video. So if you just scroll down, you can click show more and it should show the description for the video. And I'll leave the link to get the Free to Be ebook. It's for free. Down below this video, so you can get that at any time. But I learned a ton from this course, and I think the title says it all, from reactivity to choice. You know, reactivity is coming from this gut reaction. Again, it might be necessary in the moment, but a lot of times, is it? Or are we just responding to something old that's still in us? A part of us gets triggered. That's what's responding instead of the present day adult self. So there's a lot of good stuff here, and I don't want to overwhelm you. So let's just slow it down right now. So I invite you to just notice your breath. Um, just being mindful is as simple as that, bringing ourselves right into this present moment. And an easy way to do that is noticing the breath. I learned this from Eckhart Tolle. Noticing the breath. What does that do for you? You don't have to close your eyes. You can do it while you're driving the car, while you're cooking, while you're working. you can just bring your attention, your mental attention to your physical breathing. So, how about trying that just for a few moments? You can even pause this video. Just notice your breath and take a few breaths that you're noticing. You don't even have to change your breath. It's not that you have to breathe deeper or wider or bigger. Just notice the physical breath moving in and out of your body, in through your nose, out through your nose or your mouth. Good. And then come back. How do you feel now? What has changed from just a few moments ago? These are all great inquiries. I learned this from a woman, Amber Elizabeth Gray. She does amazing trauma work in like highly traumatized situations like wars, natural disasters. She's gone in and helped so many people. And I don't know if she's still doing that work, but she's amazing. And she called this a baseline check-in. Notice how you feel initially, then do a short practice like we just noticed the breath. We're not even closing our eyes or anything. We're just here, present, noticing the breath, a few breaths. And then how do you feel after? Did anything change? Did it not change? Neither is right or wrong. So just noticing. And this is really the one of the main steps of the free to be process that I put together from all different teachers that I had learned from many years ago. Um, the first step is really connection, like connecting, and we are able to notice, which is the second step because we're connected. Okay, I'm connected now to myself. I'm noticing my breath. And what does that do for the self connection? Now, there might be times where we're so triggered, we're at a 10, it is top of the line trigger, and we're having a real hard time bringing ourselves back down. Um, this is where, if you notice that you err on the side of 10 a lot, highly triggered, highly reactive, it's hard to bring yourself down. You need other things to bring yourself down, maybe things like, that might not be so healthy for you, like certain substances, or you have these habitual habits that they help calm you down, but maybe they don't feel so good, or they're not actually great for your body or your mind. So if you're noticing that that is where you tend to live, maybe an 8 to 10 a lot, finding a great person to work with, a therapist, somebody that does IFS, internal family systems, or EMDR therapy, eye movement desensitization reprocessing is a very powerful form of healing as well. Finding certified, trained people that you can work with that are therapists, that do these different modalities that can help you understand, why am I reacting this way? Why do I feel like I'm at an 8 or to a 10 frequently? Or I go from 0 to 10 in a split second. That's something I've experienced in my life. So working with someone can be very powerful to help you unpack and unpack gradually, like Eckhart Tolle. It sounds like he had a dark night of the soul and then woke up, and he's been awake ever since. But he said not everyone has that. Most people heal and awaken gradually. So finding somebody to work with can be really supportive. And if you have feelings about feeling bad and wrong about that, that's fine too, but get help. It's important. You're important, and I'm sure your family and friends and your work is important in the world. So if you need support, you can find Internal Family Systems, IFS. I believe it's ifs.com. Just do a search for internal family systems providers. You can find providers through their website. You can also look up EMDR providers in your area. Psychologytoday.com is a good resource to find providers in your area and what they do, what their specialties are. So So yeah, so just that ability to notice, it's like, oh, I am connected because I'm noticing that I'm really feeling what are the feelings, sensations that you're noticing. So this is all mindfulness. This is all just being mindfully present. And what does mindfulness do for us? Brings us into the present moment as it is. So, a big part of reactivity can be not wanting to accept the present moment as it is. And I get that fully. I don't always want to accept what's going on either. Sometimes it really sucks. Sometimes it feels bad. Sometimes it hurts. But how do I just create a little space within myself? One of the practices is the breath, finding the breath. I can be at work, I can be at home, I can be driving the car. I'm not closing my eyes and going into some deep meditation. I'm aware of everything that's going on. I'm able to be active and I can notice my breath. How does that even bring me more into the present moment? Okay, I'm driving, I'm working, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm cooking as I notice the breath. Oh, what does this do for me? Just noticing. So that's one tool that can be used. Another great tool is journaling. So if you find that you are having a lot of emotions coming up that feel challenging to deal with, a lot of reactivity, what about committing to a practice of journaling every day for the next 31 days? At least for 2 minutes a day. I mean, I think all of us could take 2 minutes to just write out our feelings every day for 31 days. I've done it. It was very powerful and insightful. This is not for anyone else to read. So if you live with other people that you don't necessarily know if your material is going to be safe, you can write it and rip it up and throw it away every day. Um, it's up to you how you deal with your stuff, your personal stuff, but just be mindful that these are not things that you necessarily want other people to find because you might be writing down some challenging things that or challenging feelings about yourself or others or life. And it's not really for anyone else. It's for just for you to have a space to process these feelings and sensations that you're having. And again, if you find this difficult, if you find there are things coming up that you're not able to let go of or that are really troubling you, get help, get professional support. You can talk to friends, family, pastors, priests, doctors, people that in your community that might know where you could find support through a great therapist, or coach. You know, use your support network wherever they are, whoever they are, trusted people that you would trust, or just go online and start researching. You might have to try people out. You have to try people out before you find the right fit sometimes. And it could be an investment. So a lot of therapists don't take insurance. So it is an investment. But how important is your mental health, your emotional health, and showing up in a way that really works for you and serves the greater good? That leads back to the intention. What really is your intention for being more mindful and wanting to learn about mindfulness? Um, how does it affect your impact on yourself, others, life itself, the work, your contribution, your legacy? So, when we journal, we can also go into the tool, the next step of free to be, which would be inquiry. Like, you know, what is happening here? Is any of this mine? How much of this is mine? Um, and if you have a higher power or a spiritual practice, you can call that in to support you in these inquiries. Whatever you call your higher power, God, source, creator, Allah, Krishna, Buddha, oneness, life, the universe, whatever you call it, I need help. You know, what is going on here? What is causing these feelings, these sensations? What do I need to do to help myself here? What tools could I learn? You know, please guide me to the right person to work with. You can talk with your higher power about this. It's so powerful to include that energy in your process here around becoming more mindful and then seeking help if you need more help. And so we've got two practices, just simply noticing the breath throughout the day. Whenever you notice, oh, I'm feeling a little triggered, or I'm feeling reactive, or I'm just feel present in the moment. Oh, I'm going to notice the breath. We also have journaling. So journaling, inquiring, writing out how you feel, writing out the sensations you feel, just free form writing for a couple of minutes a day, 2 or 3 minutes a day for 31 days. That can be very powerful. And then we have full on meditation where we set time aside to be meditative in a safe place when we're not driving, working, taking care of anyone, cooking, where we can sit in silence or go for a walk, be out in nature, where we're not listening to anything online, we're not distracted by anything else. We are just taking the time to be present with ourselves and with life as it is. So the fourth step in the free to be process is accepting what is. And this can be powerful and challenging. So, what is it like to create, again, it could be a minute, it could be 30 seconds, but start with a minute if you can, up to 30 minutes. Don't stress yourself out though. If you're new to meditation, just start with a few minutes a day, sitting in a safe, quiet space where you can detach, not detach, but just you're not responsible for anything else. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. You could keep them open. You can sit, lay down, stand, walk, whatever feels right to you to meditate, and committing to every day for at least 5 minutes that you are going to take time to sit in silence. You can notice the breath as a tool to bring you back into silence when the mind gets going, the thoughts, the emotions. And then just being there. You can set a timer on your phone if that's helpful. Especially if you have to get somewhere, set a timer on your phone when you start. And just be aware, notice your experience every time, and I do a practice called centering prayer. And one of the guidelines is to have a prayer word. So you could have a word that helps bring you back to the present moment if you find that you're getting too caught up in thoughts, emotions, scenarios, imaginings, dreams, whatever. Bring yourself back with the prayer word or notice the breath and just continue coming back into the present moment, accepting what is. Okay, there's another thought. Okay, I'm just going to notice my breath, come back into my body consciously, be in this present moment, and do that for 5 minutes and see what that feels like for you. And what is it like to commit to that once a day for the next 5 days? So, bringing in these tools can help give you a taste of what mindfulness can do for you. And it's not a quick fix. It's not a perfect fix. I've been practicing mindfulness for years. I still totally react at times. I still can get triggered throughout the day. I mean, go into a rage about something like it just is what it is. But I notice over time, I'm able more and more to feel compassionate towards myself when that happens, to not always beat myself up or feel bad or wrong or scared, like, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. Not trying to control myself all the time, like I shouldn't have those thoughts, I shouldn't have those feelings, I shouldn't do those behaviors, but just being able to see, oh, and then kind of go back in my mind, like, well, what could have possibly been causing some of this? Um, for me in that moment? Why did I react that way? Oh, I was really triggered about that other thing. That's why I'm showing up this way. And then I want to make sure that I commit to taking some time later that day just to be with that initial thing that triggered me. Take some time to be with it, breathe, process it, give it some space to, Thomas Hubl says, digest those emotions. Notice the breath. That could be a part of your meditation, is saying, I'm going to take some time in this meditation to just be present with that experience I had that brought up some emotions. Maybe you have your journal close by and you journal right then and there as a part of your meditation. So you can combine these together to work for you. Um, and then the final step of the free to be process is to be present, to be fully in this moment. As long as that is, you know, what is right. Again, there are those moments where our biology is moving us out of the moment because it's necessary, but those are not necessarily often moments unless we're in a highly traumatized situation. So what is it like to be present? And then the cycle just continues. Oh, I noticed a thought. Oh, I noticed an emotion, a body sensation. Oh, I feel triggered. Oh, I'm going to notice that. I'm going to watch my breath for a few moments. Okay, I'm going to inquire what's going on here. What got me triggered in the first place? What really upset me? Oh, okay. And how does that allow me to accept what's happening so that I can be fully present in the moment? So I invite you to try out some of these practices. And a part of life coaching, I'm a trained life coach, is accountability. So, how will you support yourself to be accountable to these new practices, to even the simple practice of watching your breath 3 times throughout the day for just a few breaths, 3 breaths each time? How do you remind yourself? Do you set a reminder in your phone that will pop up at that time every day? It's a repeating reminder. Do you write a note? Do you have a sticky note next to your bed, on your bathroom mirror, on the door before you leave your house or apartment that says breathe, notice the breath, do you set a physical alarm that will remind you every day at the same time to meditate for a few moments, to journal for a few moments? You get to decide how you're going to remind yourself and hold yourself accountable. And then notice how does it feel to actually commit to myself, commit to my own healing, commit to my own noticing and mindful journey? What is this doing for me? And you can take that baseline check-in from Amber Elizabeth Gray and notice how you feel, what's going on in your life, how do you respond, react to things when you first start, and then set a reminder in a month. How am I now? What's happening now? Am I still feeling the same? Has anything changed? Set another reminder in another month. Track your progress because it's the only thing we can compare ourselves to is ourselves. Someone said that to me once, and he's right. So you can track your progress and don't feel bad if things haven't changed. Again, if you need more support, you have resources. Get online, Google a good therapist in your area. Look at the IFS website for providers. Look for EMDR in your area, Psychology Today. Talk to trusted people in your community for recommendations. And then make that commitment. If they're covered by insurance, awesome. If they're not, how much did they charge? How often can you see them? How important is that for you, for others in your life, for your work, your contribution, your legacy, for life itself? So I will leave you with this for now. You can find out more about me and the work that I do at sarahhaykel.com. And I wish you all the best on your mindfulness journey. Aloha nui loa. Take care. God bless.